Is the frequency in use? I thought not. Didn't hear anything. This is very helpful if I turn up my volume. This is K4PEW with the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net. Is there any emergency or priority traffic? Alrighty, nothing heard. If there's any emergency traffic, please just jump in at any time. Just say your emergency. I can't imagine what it would be, but if you need our help, do that, but call 911 first, please. Net may be broken for anything, like I just said, for emergencies. For information on this net, you can see us right now on YouTube. If you just look up my call, K4PEW, or if you look up Brain Trusts is the channel name. One word, BRAINTRUSTS. Or you can look us up on our regular website, which is 146415.net. Or you can go to, for a while, anyway, Yahoo Groups, MJ_SS. They're upsetting me greatly. It's MJ_SS. We're going to be changing shortly. Or you can send me an email at k4pew@arrl.net. We normally meet at 8 p.m. on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And we conduct the net, of course, on 146.415. If you missed the frequency somehow, but I'm sure you all know where it is. The purpose of the net is to have fun, to get to hear other people on the air and figure out how well you're being heard. You can see us on the YouTube feed. You can see your signal to me on the wonderfully lighted meter I have here. And you can see what's left of my sloppy. Oh my gosh, it's awful thing. So much trash is on my desk here. But it doesn't matter. We're on the air. We're not. It doesn't matter what I look like. At any rate, we have fun and to find out what else is going on. We invite everyone to use the net to announce amateur radio events, etc. Does anybody have any? Let me start mine first. The announcements would be, since it's a Saturday today, the net is, this is net number 500 and I think it's 530. Yeah, we wrote it down now. 530, if you can imagine. And maybe go for 1,000 for another 5 years. Probably the longest running Simplex, and I'm betting. I don't know that to be true, but it sure seems like it. Maybe the most successful too, I don't know. But I only know that there's very few people doing Simplex, and that's what I'm aware of. At any rate, but they sent out an email that probably did not get out to everybody because Yahoo is a bunch of nuts. I'm not too swift these days. Sent it out a half hour ago, and it's still not out. But we immediately following the net here on 146.415 is going to be the buy, sell, swap, and swindle net. If you have something to sell or buy, make sure you let me know at that time. And then following that, we'll be doing the net on upper sideband 144.240 upper sideband. And usually that's for a handful of people, 6 to 8 people, 9 maybe. I don't remember what my number was, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, be prepared for those two big events. And of course, no, I don't want to forget that you can see us here on the live event. So there's 6 people already apparently watching. You'll probably block out my portion of the net. Just put the hand over my head. It's not so important to see me, but to hear me perhaps, and not necessarily hear me, but to hear what other people sound like too, and what their signals are compared to what yours may be. Alrighty, then we'll start taking check-ins from, I forgot where I started last week. Dang. All right, we started with the east last week, so this week, or this today, I should say, is from the north. Let's start check-ins from the north, please. North of Mount Juliet, please come in. All right, I think I heard Frank in there. I had the volume down a little, and it was a double, but KB9RKK. Very good, Frank. How you doing? Good to see you this morning.
Yeah, same here. Feeling a little better. I wasn't feeling too good this morning, but seems like I'm getting better.
I don't know. I don't want to be the judge of who's better and who's not. But you looked all right. You just looked a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, just having something digestive going on, and it's actually starts getting my heart. It starts getting like palpitations and stuff. I think it might be gluten related. I hope not, but I think it is.
Yeah, you get that famous gluten allergy.
Yeah, I started noticing whenever I was eating anything like with pasta, and it's like even a little bit, and I'm like, okay, well I did have a piece of bread, so I'm like, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it. It seems to go away right now, so we'll see what happens.
Do they make non-gluten pasta?
Yeah, they do now. A lot of times though, you got to watch it. It's got a lot of sugar in it, which is not good for you either. But yeah, I definitely don't like feeling bloated and everything. So, we have some people in the family that have it. So I'm not the only one. If that's what the problem actually is.
Yeah, no, that's only, I don't know what percentage of the population has that, but I don't ever remember hearing about that since in about the last maybe 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, I'd say you're right. That's about when I heard it. I mean, I found out, I had a coworker, she had it real bad. And then, next thing you know, my sister-in-law has it, and my brother-in-law on the other side of the family has it. So it's becoming more and more common. It's got to be something they're putting in the food, maybe all the chemicals.
You never know. Who knows? I mean, it doesn't seem like, I don't know anybody who had that kind of an issue before. So who knows? Maybe it's the day of the Russians, man.
I don't think it's them. But the good news is they have gluten-free pizza at Pantero. So, and I've had it. It's not horrible. It's not as good as regular pizza, but it's okay.
It's not what it says on the menu, is it? It's not horrible.
No, I just like I just like the traditional non-gluten better, but it's not too bad. It's better than I thought it would be.
Well, I only like in pizzas. I only like the thick crust, thin crust, the with everything, the not with everything, the double cheese, triple cheese, cheese filled, you name it. Now that's right. I like all pizza.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think you're describing everything.
No, I'm not too particular. I used to get a pizza down in Florida by this group down there, and they had a large, and it was, I don't know if they even make pizzas that large. They had a large pizza, and if you ask for it with everything, and I ordered 3 of those pizzas for some kind of function I had at the house. It might have been my son's birthday party. I could barely carry the 3 of them out to the car.
Oh my God! What are they, like 30 pieces?
You wouldn't believe it. It was unbelievable. Well, anyway, it was just, they were big pizzas, and they were really, really good, and they probably cost $50 a piece now if you made them that big.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I remember getting a party. Some of the back in the day, the party sizes that were bigger than what I've seen lately. But I don't think I've ever seen quite one quite that big. That's wow.
Anyway, yeah, you had to put it in the trunk. It was that big. No, it wasn't quite like that. All right, Frank, good to have you in there. That's Frank, Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo Kilo going through the pizza menu here. And he's up in northwest Wilson County. I think it might be considered Mount Juliet, but it's probably Hermitage. Is that Hermitage really?
I'm in Mount Juliet, just basically the last subdivision, and then you go past the subdivision and you are unincorporated Wilson.
Okay, I got you. Very good. So it is it's still in the city of Mount Juliet. Mount Juliet's got some funny borders. Anyway, who else we got north? Good to have you in there, Frank, and it was good to see you this morning. I hope you're feeling better.
K4 VGI. K4 Black UR in Gallup.
I think, hold on one second. That was YQR. Hold on one second. I think that's what the call was. I heard Charlie. I think I was Charlie in there, wasn't it? Kilo November 4, Victor Tango India.
Yes, Kilo November 4, Victor Tango India here.
Yeah, very good. It was good to see you and your dad in there this morning. You still got that beep on that radio. It's not a big deal, but I just want to let you know it's still there.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I can get that turned off.
Oh, you can. Just go into the. I look in the manual. I know that it says there in there. I forget what it is. I forget what it is. To tell you the truth, there's a button on there that permits you to just change it. It takes it off real easy. Well, it was great. Did you and your dad enjoy the breakfast this morning?
Yeah, we did. It was really fun. The food's really great there too.
Yes, they get enough of it. If you eat too much of it, you're going to gain about 30 pounds.
Yes, sir. It's very, very greasy.
Yeah, hope they're not listening to this. Yeah, it's pretty decent stuff. So you got some plans. I might as well say that now. Charlie is looking for hopefully an inexpensive HF rig in the future because he's already got his tech license. He's about 13 years old and he's going to be taking the general test here hopefully in the next month or so, maybe a little longer. And he wants to get on the air on HF, but it means getting a radio, and I don't think he's prepared to spend a grand for a radio. So if anybody's got any ideas on what we can do with Charlie's radio needs, let us know. So when do you plan to taking that test now that I've set up the plan for you there, Charlie?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm studying right now, so just let me know if I turn off the beep there. Did I turn off the beep?
I didn't hear it that time.
Yeah, it told me in the radio. It told me in the settings if I turn off the internet feature, it'll stop the beep.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's going. It's 100% going. That's great. So, well, you learned something already today, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, very good. Anything else you care to tell us about what's going on in your life at the moment?
Nope, not really. I'll just give it to the next check-in.
All right. Very good. I'm glad you were able to check in. And, of course, you know that we're here every Wednesday and Saturday. And what else? Of course, those breakfasts are every other. By the way, send me an email at my call at k4@awrl.net and let me know your email so you can get on the mailing list if you don't mind.
Yeah, I have my email is charliemeadows@icloud.com.
I'm sorry, what was the at what.com?
iCloud.com. It's CharlieMeadows @icloud.com.
Ah, very good. iCloud.com. Okay. I don't think I've seen that one before. Maybe I have, and I just haven't paid attention. All right, very good. And it is Charlie, CharLie Meadows, MEADOWS.
That is correct.
All right, fantastic. I'll get you on the list here, and we'll go from there. Good to have you on the air, and good to see you at breakfast this morning. And I'm glad your dad's supportive of your fairly keen interest in amateur radio. It's a pleasure to have a young person like yourself in amateur radio. That was one of the things I noticed some years ago when I got an amateur radio. When I went to my first Ham Fest, it was out in Florida, and I was about, I guess how old was I? I was 50 something, and I was shocked because I was one of the youngest people there at the Ham Fest, and there was a couple of hundred people there. And I said, man, how come there's no young people here? So it kind of freaked me out. I expected them to be more. Anyway, well, I think I heard a YQR, Yankee Quebec Romeo. Is that correct? In there next?
Yes, that's correct. Kilo November 4, Yankee Quebec Romeo.
Keith, have I talked to you before? Because I don't recall.
No, I just got a second one.
Ah, very good. Glad to hear it. Where did you take the exam?
Suffolk County Radio Club.
Ah, fantastic. So you're located up in that neck of the woods, farther north?
Yes, I'm in Gallup.
Ah, fantastic. Which antenna and radio are you using?
I have a little Slim Jim in the attic and a handy dog.
Ah, that's why I can hear you. I'm sure there's some others that cannot, but you're doing pretty good for having a Slim Jim J-pole in the attic. And that is what it's the Slim Jim. When you say it, it's one of those roll-up kind of J-poles.
Yes, it is.
Ah, great. And only 5 watts, is that right?
Yes, little bow bone.
Oh yeah, and you're in Gallatin. That's great. No, you're doing well to me. I mean, it's not a killer signal, but I've got good copy.
Thanks.
Yeah, you were doing about an S6, I think, on that last transmission, so you're doing okay. Well, very good. I'm glad to hear you got into the hobby. What prompted you to get into the hobby?
It's just one of those things I've thought about for a while, and life gets in the way.
Oh, I know the drill. Life got in the way for a long time for me. I remember I was exposed to amateur radio through a family friend, and I mean when I was probably real young, and I mean young. When I mean young, I mean I was probably 6 or 7. And then again, when he came back to town, he had left town to go work in Washington, D.C., and he came back in town, and he had a mobile rig in his Chevy. He had a 55 or 56 Chevy, as I recall. And he had a mobile rig, which was about the size of a small apartment refrigerator in his front seat. And he said, hey, you want to go hear the radio in the car? I said, yeah. And oh, man, I couldn't believe it. we were up in Western New York, up along the Canadian border, and he was talking to people in Texas and some other place. I was just impressed, but like you say, life gets in the way.
Comment.
Hey, go ahead, Richard. What's up?
I can hear him up here in Lebanon. He's doing a good job.
Oh yeah, you should. You're a little closer than me, but yeah, no, his signal's pretty decent for J-pole in the attic.
All right, I just wanted to throw that in there. Have a good night. I'll be back.
I'm willing to bet he's got both sides of those wires connected to his J-pole.
I can tell.
No, he's doing good. All right, very good. Anything else for us, Keith? You're doing great, though.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, if you can get that, if you somehow can get that antenna or a more efficient one outside, that are you restricted in any way on antennas?
No, just get started. I could probably do with another 20 feet outside of that. It really good.
Oh yeah, no, it's no. The key is, I've done the same thing. All new hams seem to get into that mode. They get something in the attic, and then they finally realize that isn't quite as good as they want it to be, and they realize that not everybody can hear them. Believe me, I know. I've been there. And then they realize, well, I need to get outside. And then they get outside and they go, well, I need even a better antenna. And then you end up with, like me, with a $390 antenna outside. So, but it really does, it serves everybody well that have a nice antenna. And it makes the hobby is more fun the more you can hear and the more people that can hear you, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Well, very good, Keith. Good to have you in there. That's Keith, and that's in Gallatin, Kilo, November 4, Yankee, Quebec, Romeo. Decent signature heard over in Lebanon as well. And prior to that, I forgot to mention to Charlie, Kilo, November 4, Victor, Tango, India. He's in, I think it's the Green Hills area, I believe, northwest, Mount Juliet, up towards the river. Well, very good. Good to have you both in there. New hams, Kilo, November 4, Victor, Tango, India, Charlie, and Keith, Kilo, November 4, Yankee, Quebec, Romeo. Both new to the hobby, so we want to make sure we see them out there at one of the events, or you hear them on the air, or jump right in and say hello. All right, who else we got? North, please come down.
WE4E.
You just get into the hobby there, Dan?
Yeah, I just got into the hobby just today. I'm new.
The signal doesn't sound new, though.
Well, yeah, it's really loud because it's new. It hasn't been used much.
Yeah, you have to repolish the antenna.
That's it. The chrome's all getting tarnished.
So you doing all right? No travel this week?
Nope, haven't gone anywhere for a while. Doing okay. Got my arc started just in case. We're into the 40 days, 40 nights. So all things being equal, not too bad.
That's what's nice about being on the top of Mount Juliet. That's where your boat's going to end up, on top of us.
Exactly. All signs point to Mount Juliet.
Well, I don't know. You're not that close to the Cumberland. You have much to worry about, do you?
Oh, I can see it from my front porch.
Oh, really? It's that? I didn't know it was that close.
Yeah, I'm not lakefront. I'm lake view. I'm on the other side of the street. My lot's probably give or take 45, 50 feet above the water line. The reason I know that is because when Wolf Creek looked like it was coming apart, I was kind of trying to figure out where the water was going to go.
We were just talking about. We were talking with somebody. I guess it was at the breakfast. And, no, I was talking to my wife. That's what I was talking about. I said, it's funny. I said, people worry about flooding, because it was flooding in Japan. It killed 10 people. That's what going on. And I said, it's really funny because when I grew up, I never worried about flooding in Niagara Falls. She goes, I would thought just the opposite with that big river and the Great Lakes. I said, yeah, but when all the water goes into this giant hole called Lake Ontario, there's no chance of a flood ever.
Yeah, and if you do have a chance of a flood, you got bigger problems.
Oh no! I said it's the end of the world if we flooded in that, and you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly. You lived in that area.
Yep, I know very well. So yeah, you're in deep doo doo if that happens.
Yeah, very good. I don't ever remember any flooding, and I don't even remember street flooding in that day.
Shoot, I don't remember snow days. I remember one time we got 3.5 feet overnight. It was one of those deals where my dad had to take the upper window out of the screen door and stick a shovel out through to be able to move enough snow to be able to get the door open. I think we missed one day of school, and I remember riding in the school bus and having snow up above the school bus on both sides of the road. You rode the school bus, and all you saw was snow the whole way. So flooding kind of the same way.
Oh yeah, no, that was we did have snow days. I'm a little bit older than you, as you know, but I don't remember how much. But I remember doing that when we'd walk to school, and there'd be snow almost as tall as us in the median, not in the median, right away between the sidewalk and the streets. And then those were a great challenge to go to school all the way, walking on the big drifts and walking down the piles of snow. And of course, we'd get to school, it'd be soaking wet and cold, and we'd get chewed out for doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, I know what you mean. A little sidebar for Charlie. Have him, Charlie, if you're still listening, contact me, we4e@icloud.com. I could probably set you up with little HF radio. Go get your general, and we'll get you on the low bands. It's been a lot of fun. There's big contest this weekend, and I gotta say, I had a good time last night. I was on an hour and a half or something, and just sort of tuning around. I'm not a contester, but I'll work contest stations just for giggles, whatever. I had a frightening amount of success on 160, and Paul, you talked, I think it was Wednesday maybe, or it might have been last weekend, about the full wave loop and all that. I've got a 160 meter loop up at some random height, in some random shape around the perimeter of the property at however I managed to get the string through the trees that day. And I was able to work a bunch of Caribbean stations down there. I got Aruba and Curacao and St. Kitts and Antigua and St. Croix and a couple of others. And there's one other on here that I can't find the log now. I don't know where it is. But anyway, Bonaire. That was the big winner for me. That's practically South America down there or whatever. On 160 meters with this stupid loop that I've got in there, I put it up badly, and if you do the math on it, it shouldn't do anything useful at all, and that was big fun. So anyway, but yeah, Charlie, send me an email and get your general, get you fixed up.
You need to take a look at Nevis, St. Kitts. Nevis is practically the Venezuela.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Charlie, it's WE4E, Whiskey Echo 4 Echo at iCloud.com. Send me your contact info.
Charlie, did you get that okay?
Yep, I got it perfect.
All right, very good. See, getting involved, you really gets things rolling, doesn't it?
Well, you know what, Paul, I'm excited that he's involved with it and everything. So, we need kids like him to get involved in the hobby and carry it forward and everything. So, I'm excited for you. So, Charlie, good on you. Go get your general. Let's get on the low bands.
Well, there's a good incentive for you, Charlie, if there wasn't already one there.
Yeah, I'll email you.
Perfect. Sounds good. So anyway, Paul, that's all I got from here. Let me get out of the way. Let you carry on with the net. So thanks, and 73, and I'll see you. WE4E back to net. Thank you.
Yeah, very good, Danny. You know what you're going to have to do is we'll start up this with Simplexton group. I'm going to have to put up a ferry across the Cumberland so you can come eat breakfast and not have to drive 35 miles a day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's 8 miles if you look on Google Maps, but it takes me, an hour and 10 minutes to get from here to there.
Yeah, I know. I always find it funny because apparently there used to be some kind of a ferry across that river going north and south.
Oh yeah, there were several. There was Saunders Ferry, and there's Walton Ferry, and Bender's Ferry, and I forget what all. So there used to be several ferries that would go from Sumner County to Wilson County or thereabouts, Hendersonville to Mount Juliet or Davidson County or whatever, and of course they're all long gone. And I got 3 ways to get there. I've either got to go to 65 and go across the river there, or I've got to go across Old Hickory Boulevard through Old Hickory, Lakewood, over in there, Maya Drive, go across the river there, or I've got to go up to Gallatin, come down 109. Go across the river there, and I don't care how you go, it's an hour.
Yeah, no, I got you. I know the deal. I've been the route up there. I've been up to the hospital there in Hendersonville. Been up there shopping in Hendersonville, and been up there to the Sam's Club in Hendersonville. So I know the deal. All right, very good. Good to have you in there, Danny. And I think we got a radio in line for Charlie, which would be a good deal. Good to get him on the air. Who else we got to the north? Please come in. Over to the west, then, west of Mount Juliet. Please come in. West of Wilson County, west of Mount Juliet Road.
KN4 to JF. KN4 UHR.
KN4 UHR. Hold on 1 second. I got Rick ahead of you there. Kilo November 4, Tango Juliet Foxtrot. How you doing? We missed you this morning there, Rick.
I sure missed being there, Paul. Yeah, I hated to.
I just really need to kind of recoup a little bit, so I stayed at the house. But thank you for that. Hello, everybody on the net. Hope everybody's doing well. Just wanted to check in, man. You doing okay, Paul?
I'm doing great. No, I just said, I asked Michael, where you were, because I told him I was getting tired of seeing him.
Yeah.
No, we're doing great. We had a nice meeting. I think there was 10 or 11 or 12. I lost count of. I really wasn't paying that much attention. We were having so much fun,
Oh, man, that's great. That's a good number. Yeah, like I say, I'm sorry I had to miss it, but next time I'll be around, hopefully, and get to enjoy some of that good food and company.
All right, very good. Look forward to seeing you there. It was Rick, Kilo November 4, Tango, Juliet, Foxtrot, and he's over in Ashland City. Very good signal over there, Rick, and I hope you're back to driving and feeling better than you were a week, 10 days ago or so. Very good. I have Kilo November 4 uniform. Uh-oh. I think I wrote it down. What was that call again?
K-4 UHR. Kilo India 4 Uniform Hotel Romeo.
I got it now. Okay. Yeah, for some reason it looked like an N, or I wrote it down as an N. An N would mean a pretty new call, but you're not too new. You're probably, KI is probably around 2005 or so.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure. I renewed my license 2 years ago, I think.
Right. Where are you? What's your name and your location? I don't think we've talked with you.
Alan, I'm over here near Shoots Branch. Yeah, I've checked in. It's been a while, but I have checked in before.
Yeah, that's one of my problems as I get older. I probably would remember, but if I don't hear it repeated a few times over the course of a year or two, it'll drop right off the end of my brain. So how you doing, Alan? You doing all right? What kind of antenna are you using over there in Alpha Shoots Branch? And Shoots Branch is, I'm trying to remember where that is.
It's, you know where Langford Cove is? Green Harbor. Right before you drop off that hill, you go down to the lake.
Oh, okay, very good. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just don't get up in that area hardly ever, and that's why I get kind of dumb about what's north of me.
It's a 2-meter, 70-centimeter ground plane. Tell you the truth, I don't remember who makes it. It's been up for 12 or 13 years.
No, you're good. Your signal's fine. Nothing to worry about. I just wondered what you had. And what, you're running 50 watts, do you?
I think that's what it's on. Let's see. Yeah, it's on 50 watts. It's a Yaesu FT 8900.
Okay, very good. That's a nice radio. Yeah, you're doing 40 over here. It's not like there's a worry about, I wasn't concerned about your signal. I just wondered what you had. No, that antenna is doing fine. I'm sure that it's doing fine to other people because it's, well, you're not that far from me, but where you are is kind of close to the river, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm in Green Harbor, kind of up on that hill. So I'm about 100, I think it's 100 feet above the lake.
Oh, well, then you're not doing too bad. Because as you know, down by the lake, it gets pretty low elevation. Because I'm at, I think, 680, and I'd have to look at the map to see what you are. But you must be, I'm guessing you're close, about 600 feet, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think the lake's like 450. Whatever it is, I'm 100 feet above it.
Yeah, that's still too low, isn't it?
Yeah, really. But my antenna's up against the chimney, so it's just kind of, I guess it's the base of the antenna is about level with the peak of the roof, I guess.
Yeah, well, on mine, I did that too. When I put up the, I bolted a post, mast to the chimney, and then so the base of the antenna is about, let's see, the chimney is 18 feet tall, so that's 18. I have to do the math every time. Poor memory. So it's 20. So the base of the antenna is at about 30 feet above the ground because it's above the, it's a fair amount above the chimney. But it's just more work getting up on the roof and doing that. It's not the easiest job in the world doing that stuff on the roof.
Yeah, I use big eye bolts, screwed them in to the side of the chimney. Well, really just one. That way I can stand on the roof and tilt it down. And when I put it up, it's anchored at the bottom into the concrete patio. But once I put it up, I've never
Oh, that's awesome. So obviously you did a good job when you put it up. Yeah, mine isn't the bottom of the mast. It's actually sitting, it's bolted to the chimney. So yeah, there's no taking it down. I got to go up there and get it, which makes it a little tougher. Yours is a smarter move, except it's not as high. That's the only downside.
Yeah, the base of the antenna is about maybe 5 feet above the chimney, which is almost level with the peak of the roof.
Yeah, very good. Well, you got a great signal, so you're doing a good job, and hope to hear you again. It's good to hear you again there. That was Alan. He's up in Shoots Branch, north of me. It's KI4UHR with a great signal. It's Kilo India 4 Uniform Hotel Romeo. Yeah, you're doing fine, Alan. I'm sorry I didn't remember your call, but it's the nature of things because we have 20 check-ins twice, 20-something check-ins twice a week, and if I don't hear from somebody in a while, I just forget it. I'm sorry. Anyway, good to have you in there. I hope to see you at a breakfast. It'd be a good opportunity. Twice a week, and if you send me your email, I'll be happy to put you on the mailing.
Right. Yeah, I thought about that this morning. Of course, it was already 9 o'clock, and I had other things I had to do anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to come. So.
All right. Well, very good. We everybody's welcome. Even Richard over in Lebanon, he's welcome. All right. Very good, Alan. Good to have you in there. Who else we got? North or west?
KM4, 1 hour out.
Oh, you were jumping in there late, weren't you, Michael?
Yeah, I was thought about being a lollygagger, but I thought better of it.
Yes. It was good to see you this morning.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that was in lieu of Rick being
there. Yeah, I picked right up on
that. Well, I was truthfully, I would have rather seen him there because I knew he was having issues, and it was good to see his face and hope he was feeling good.
Yeah, I was sad that he didn't make it, but understood totally.
Well, yeah. Plus, he's also got quite a distance to travel. It's much farther than you. If he might be the one that comes from the farthest away.
Probably so.
The only one that might come close, but Jim wasn't there this morning. But coming down from Woodbury, coming up from Woodbury, might be farther.
Yeah, I think that's like maybe 70 miles or something.
On the road, it may. I don't know if it's quite that long or not. I know he's what 35 or 40 miles southeast of me, but I don't know the total distance. He doesn't care. He rides a motorcycle. He loves it.
Well, that's good.
Well, very good, Michael. That was Michael Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot. He was in Bellshire, up there northeast Nashville in Davidson County. Great signal as always. It was good to see him this morning. Hope to see Rick next time, his brother. Who else we got? West.
Katie Farley and Mary.
Hey, Mary, your voice getting any better, or is it just still hoarse a little bit?
I think it has gotten worse through the week. I don't know when it's going to get better. I'm really tired of it. It's kind of miserable having this yucky stuff, but I think it started out as allergies and maybe turned into a cold or whatever.
Yeah, well, whatever. The whatever in there is no good because it's you don't. It's funny how I know it always happens to me. If I get ill, I feel bad. Then that's when you realize that when you feel normal, you take it for granted.
You are absolutely right. And I have been sick in a while. I mean, it's been a long while. And so you do really take it for granted. I was like, I'm through with this. Ready to move on.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's, what they say, you can, no matter what you do, you can take an aspirin and buy antibiotics and hot tea and, rest and sleep. No matter what you do, it's still going to be a week to 10 days before it's over.
That's what my daughter told me last night. 7 to 10 days, Mom. Remember? Anyway, it's good to hear you, Paul and Michael. We're right here close to him in Bellshire, beautiful Bellshire. It's kind of stormy here all day, though. I'll pass the mic over to Marty, and I hope all of you have a great evening and weekend. And I'm glad to hear those new ham radio operators checking in, too. Take care.
Yeah, very good. Hoping to hear Marty in there momentarily. So you've avoided being sick or feeling bad. That's great, Marty.
Snorted sick, and then I got some better, but Mary don't have a. She's got a gravelly talking now.
Yeah, well, that just makes her sound meaner, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Very good. When did you get licensed, Marty? I never asked you.
Well, I'd have to go to the. You can look on it, can't you?
I don't know if I can tell when you first got licensed. I mean, your call didn't change. That you didn't change your call from when you first got it. You know that this is your original call, that Kilo Delta.
Yes.
Okay, so you must have got like maybe in the 1990s, maybe.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I was just guessing because I'm not sure because I didn't get licensed until 2005. Just like that other fellow who was in there with that Kilo India call, which was like around 2005 for bunches of them, no matter where you were. Well, very good, Marty. No, I just didn't know how long you'd been. I was pretty sure it was in the 90s, but I wasn't positive. Well, very good. Good to have you and Mary in there. I'm glad to hear you're surviving, and I hope Mary's voice gets back to square one here shortly. That was Mary, Kilo Delta 4 Oscar Echo November, and Kilo Delta 4 Bravo Quebec Kilo Marty, and they're both in Belgium. Anybody else west?
Whiskey 84 Alpha Whiskey Echo.
Hello. We were talking about you this morning at breakfast there, John.
Well, I didn't hear my ears burning, which is what my grandmother used to say.
Well, we were, Richard said, man, you ought to see the grounding system that John has over there at his place. And I said, well, I only see a fantastic grounding signal as the perfect opportunity for lightning to say, that looks like an excellent spot.
Yeah, you know, it's probably the most unglamorous piece of equipment in ham radio because it's all basically going to be buried once it's done, out of sight. But if you get it so it'll actually dissipate, and well, the biggest thing is the bonding, actually, more than the grounding. Just tying everything to the AC common together, and boy, that just solves so many problems.
Yeah, it's what you don't see though that's it's so important. When I first was in the Navy, and I'm sure you've seen or read about, I'm sure you've actually used them probably in your lifetime, but the sacrificial anodes.
Oh yeah, in fact, I just changed one recently in my water heater.
Okay, well, we were in the shipyards, and I got stuck with a crew working underneath, in the dry dock, taking off these they bolted onto the hull. They were all cruddy because they'd been sacrificed themselves. I didn't know what the heck they were. I just knew they were taking them off and working off the scaffolds and stuff and pulling off these cruddy things and bolting new ones up there to the hull. And I said, what the heck are these things? And the guy said, they're sacrificial anodes. I said, yeah, so what's that? I don't know. He goes, well, instead of the hull deteriorating, from the experience in salt water, the electrons move through the hull and they go through the sacrificial anodes and they sacrifice themselves. You know what I asked him? I said, how do they know where the sacrificial anodes are?
Yeah, it's a funny thing about electrons. They tend to find it.
No, it's a fascinating thought, really, because it's like ground. How does it go? Well, it knows because that's the easiest path.
Yeah, basically what it is you're actually creating a battery. And, I got involved years ago in restoring a steel-hulled houseboat, which was a project that looked interesting at the start and then later turned into the old saying of a hole in the water you pour money in. But I found that this was up at Center Hill Lake, but even in freshwater, it's important if you've got a steel hull.
Well, people forget that when you move a steel hull through water, it actually turns it into a magnet.
Yeah, it always goes back to, stuff that Faraday and the early scientists in the 1600s and 1700s invented.
Yep, no, that's kind of interesting, that whole concept of, that's why when I also learned, when I was going through school in the Navy, it was the same kind of deal. When they said there were mines, floating mines, is you don't actually hit mines. They hit you because they're attracted to the magnetic quality of the ship.
Yeah, it's salt water sure makes those kinds of things work a lot better.
Well, I don't know if you knew it. I'm sure you do, but maybe others don't. But we had wires that were going all the way around the ship on the inside of the hull, that were degaussing wires, and they had the ability to turn on those degaussing wires to demagnetize the ship from the effects of moving through the water.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't. I mean, I knew that was done sometimes. So that was done even in ships of that vintage.
Oh yeah, this was in the. I don't know how far back that went, but my class of ship was built from about 1940. I'm going to say 42 or 3. I'm not sure exactly because there was 2 classes and they were combined because one turned into another. It was the Sumner, and then it became the Sumner gearing. It had a little different configuration, but they were the same kind of a structure and the same general design. But anyway, yeah, no, they had that degaussing thing in there, and I don't even ever know if they turned it on because that was something engineering did, not what we did in weapons. I just knew it was there because it was part of the anti-submarine warfare platform. You didn't want to be able to retract mines.
You know, I guess depending on where the location of your racks were for sleeping, you might end up finding your watch slowing down or stopping.
Well, maybe that's why they used aluminum frames on the racks.
You know, could be.
I don't know. I really don't know how often, if they ever used it. I don't even know because I didn't do it. Maybe I just wouldn't have noticed. Maybe that's the iron plate in my head starts to vibrate now. I don't know why.
I am curious though, on a big ship like that, what were the sacrificial electrodes? Were they large plates?
Yeah, they were a plate, as I recall, about maybe 12 to 16 inches long and probably 12 inches high and about maybe 2 inches thick. And they had a bolt, you know, they were mounted on plates, and those plates, you know, like steel plates, and those steel plates they had you know, threaded things welded right into the hull, so you screwed the bolts right to, you know, whatever they were. I think they were like half-inch, might even been 1-inch bolts, was threaded, you know, threaded right into the hull.
Yeah, that's interesting because I know on this, I think this houseboat, I got involved, and I was like one of 2 partners in it, but I was the one that had all the tools, so I spent a lot of my time in the bilge, and I think I ended up putting, it was about a 10-inch square, 1-foot square plate.
Yeah, well, it is important. I mean, it's obvious it's important, but it isn't important. You don't think about it until you don't, well, you know, your hull starts to deteriorate.
But I tell you, I was shocked. I had put in a new magnesium sacrificial anode in my water heater 5 years ago and had just marked it on the calendar to check it. With all the limestone that's in the water here in Tennessee, I was shocked. About half of it was gone.
Oh, no, I'm not shocked at all. I mean, it's amazing. You don't realize how important that stuff is. And then you begin to realize how things deteriorate because of water quality and due to those kind of issues. Well, let me run along here, John. It was good talking to you. I want to mention, there was something else I want to mention to you, but not here. It was, well, I can do it on here. I just won't do it now. Anyway, about that sacrificial stuff. Anyway, that's Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo. That's John. He is in Bellevue. Good signal as always. Who else we got west?
KG4CXE.
I heard a double, but I did catch, I think it was Chris in there, KG4CXE.
Yep. How's it going, Paul?
It's going fantastic. Other than, I couldn't believe how breezy it was today, man. It was like 20-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah, it was wild out there, and it was kind of warm too. That was the odd part.
Yeah, warm. It was like a balmy, I felt like I was in the tropics or something. It was so moist and balmy and windy.
Yeah, it's been crazy, man. I've been working like a dog and actually getting ready to go to the Washington area and Oregon area for, I'd say, 2 weeks each. So I wanted to check in and say hello to everyone and see how you guys are doing.
Please don't use, my wife did that today. She said, I was working like a dog. Not me. I never worked, well, sometimes I have. I said, you're not working like our dogs because they sleep about 22 hours a day.
Yeah, the reality is dogs don't work a whole lot now.
No, only they bark a lot when I stick them outside. Then they come in, they shut up, and they go to sleep.
Sounds like me, to be honest.
Yeah, no kidding. It is, you know, when you say a dog's life, it doesn't involve a lot of work, unless you got one to dig. I had a dog one time years ago that I used to forgive the non-PC reference, but I used to say she was one of those tunneling Viet Cong because she would dig it. Couldn't see in her yard. She'd dig a hole so deep sideways, you know, kind of and angled in the ground. Didn't know where she was.
That's wild. My parents have a dog that's very similar to that. He'll just dig for. He thinks he's gonna finally get something. He's like breathing in the ground. It sounds crazy. It really does sound weird, but he just doesn't know when to give up.
Dogs. I'm telling you, dogs. Well, they can be goofy. Let's put it that way. Well, they can be so can people, but dogs can be really goofy. Well, very good, Chris. Good to have you in. I hope you have a great trip out to the Great Northwest there to Washington. You said Oregon too?
Yeah, 2 weeks each. It's a work trip. I don't particularly want to do it at this time of the year, but I've got to get it done.
Is this their rainy part?
You know, I'm afraid to look at the weather, to be honest.
Yeah, I've never been up. The farthest I've been north on that coast, I think, is in the San Francisco area, but that was it. And I guess kind of wish I would. No, I don't really wish. I always have this image that everybody in the Great Northwest, of the state of Washington and the great state of Oregon, are all like Marxists. I don't know why.
You know, it's going to be a brand new thing for me, so I'll have some stories to tell when I get back.
I know. Well, Starbucks is up there, and of course, so is Boeing, so is Microsoft. So I'm not sure it's such a bad place, but you know what I'm saying. That's my impression is that it's it's a bunch of coffee swilling, PC correct crowd.
Yeah, I was told don't talk about politics, and I was like, well, that's good. I'm not going to do that anyways.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, very good. I will catch you later, Chris. That was Chris. He's over here in Donaldson. He had KG4CXC. We had another station in there that I did not catch the call.
KN4CBY.
I know I've talked to you before, but I don't remember the name.
Thanks, Roger. I barely got into you last Saturday on the UHF net.
Oh yes. That's right. It was just a. What were you using for the antenna on the 447?
Oh, last week I was using a little 5-watt HT, and I had a roll-up J-pole hanging out of a tree.
Ah, well, that explains part of it. You're right. 5 watts. Well, let's put it this way. If you have 5 watts and you're at 1,000 feet in the air with the antenna, you're doing great. But if you're down at below 50 feet, 5 watts on 70 centimeters really stinks.
Oh yeah, I was just surprised you even heard me at all. I couldn't hear you. I heard you on YouTube.
Oh wow. Yeah, well, give me your location again. I forget.
I'm in West Nashville, Charlotte Park area, to be specific.
Okay, very good. Yeah, no, you're doing well from that area. You're right. You must have a fairly good elevation on the house.
Yeah, our elevation's pretty good, and today I've just been trying to cobble a different station together. I got a quarter wave antenna up on a pole out back with some ground planes mounted to it, and pulled the mobile out of the truck. So I'm running probably about 45 watts tonight.
Yeah, we got your audio is decent, and I can see you got an S5 signal here on the meter, and you're a little bit of hash in there, but it's nobody would complain about it. It's just not. I bet you if you doubled the height and had a different antenna, something like a 5/8 wave or something like that, you'd be a killer signal.
Sounds good. Yeah, I've only been licensed a couple of weeks, so I'm out here in the shed just cobbling stuff together, and I'm just happy I made the contact with you tonight.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Because, I know when I was first in the hobby, I had that same feeling. If I can just make contact, it was like, oh, this is just, you can't believe it's even happening, because it's still, even now, even though I've got fairly good equipment and fairly good antenna and a fairly good elevation, it's still magical to me that my signal goes out. And I forget what the math is now, but if you go out, you give a 45 mile diameter, which is 22.5 radius, and you do the math on what that square miles is. It's a lot of square miles of signal we're covering.
It is indeed. Well, I'm happy to make contact with you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, very good. That was Roger, Kilo November 4 Zulu Bravo Yankee. He is in West Nashville, near Charlotte Park. It's Charlotte Park, you said, right?
That is correct.
Okay, I don't think I know of it. I was thinking when I said it and I saw it, I thought maybe I misunderstood. You meant Charlotte Pike, but that wasn't what you said. That's why I clarified. Well, very good. You sound good for what you got there on 5 watts. I don't know who else can hear you, but you've got a decent signal to me. Who else is West? Please come in. South of 40, please come in.
Before we
Hey, man, I was surprised you weren't there today. There's no excuse, man. You should have slipped a rag over your face and showed up.
Well, just like you said, you got 2 meetings a month to miss. So, tell you what, at 8:02, I saw you getting close to Courtney's, and I was heading home. I've had an upper respiratory infection, but I thought it was over, and my nose started bleeding, so I didn't think y'all would want to sit there and watch that.
Now, we would have just rolled up some napkins and shoved them up your nose.
Yeah, that's what I had to do. It finally quit.
Yeah, a real man would have showed up, man.
I don't know about that.
Hey, listen, I remember years and years ago, I was 19 years old, and I went to somebody's house, and I'd given blood that morning. I don't know what the connection was. It was the first time I gave blood. And out of I was just sitting there minding my own business in the chair, and all of a sudden my nose started bleeding profusely. I have no idea why.
Yeah, probably from the heat. You know, it could be the heat, your house, or you could have a sinus infection, a lot of different things.
Yeah, I got you. So you did have some respiratory problems. Well, I hope you're getting. Are you getting over them?
Well, I thought I was over, but I guess my nose got too dry.
Yeah, I got you. Well, sorry you couldn't make it this morning. You're being one of the regulars, and you always clamor. You're the one that made us go to 2 times a month. I say made us, you know the deal. We enjoy it. It's a good opportunity to everybody to get together. Anyway, that's Eddie, Whiskey 4 Echo Bravo X-Ray. He's over in Gladeville. Good signal, but a bad nose. Who else south, please come on.
KM4 VV8.
What's your excuse, Dan? You weren't there this morning.
No, I was watching the grass grow, and I'd like to report that it grew.
Oh, man, this rain and kind of balmy weather is killing us, isn't it?
Yeah, well, from those of us up north, I just enjoy balmy, hot weather and not snow.
Oh, I hear you. I still miss, even today, just give you an example. I've lived in the South now for 40-something years now, 43 years. I still like cool weather. And in fact, even sitting around the house today, it's in the 70s in the house, and I'm always warm. And I put on a lighter shirt, take off my socks and shoes, run around in my shorts because I don't like. It's not that I don't like. I'm not comfortable when it gets really warm.
Yeah, well, when I used to sit up there in Cleveland, the warm weather was around 50, and we had the 4 seasons: winter, still winter, almost winter, and summer.
Yeah, and they were all cloudy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good. That's true. Ohio doesn't get much press on that issue, but it's true. You guys get all that lake weather as well as what we did up there in Western New York around Buffalo. So it was the same kind of a deal. It's when it snows big time, and it stays cold for a relatively long period of time.
I don't know who mentioned about all that snow up there, but I remember one night we got 43 inches of snow overnight.
Yeah, I know. I remember I worked. I don't remember I was going to school. I was working, but got up in the morning and it snowed overnight. I don't know that it snowed more than 18 or 20 inches, whatever the deal was. But unfortunately, my house, my mother's house, faced west, and the westerly wind came in, and it would always drift in a certain way on my front porch, and I'd have to open up the storm door. I'd have to lean into it and kind of shove all the snow off to one side. That was the only way I could get out of the house.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much I miss it is -5.
No, it's pretty though.
Oh yeah, when it's somewhere else.
No, that's true. It's really funny how the snow. Everybody goes, "Oh, isn't that pretty?" And then 20 minutes later, they're complaining about it because it's no fun driving in. It's no fun plowing it. It's no fun walking in it. It's no fun shoveling it. It's just a pain in the butt.
Yeah, the only good thing was it was easier to track the deer.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. You heard about that guy that got killed by a deer, didn't you? Came off his deer stand to check on the deer, and apparently they found him, and he was already near death. The deer apparently woke up and it took off, but before it took off, it plunged into his body and pierced his abdomen.
Yeah, well, you always have to check them, make certain that they are dead.
Well, he didn't. That was the problem. Apparently, he didn't know that the big deer was just. He was using, by the way, he was also using black powder, so he probably just knocked him out.
And blinded himself while he
was shooting.
I know. I don't know why you use black powder when it's much more effective with something else.
That was probably the muzzle loader season.
No, I'm sure it was. I'm sure. No, I saw that in the paper today. I feel bad for the guy. He's dead. So anyway, Dan, it's good to have you in there. That's Kilo Mike 4, Victor Alpha. He's here in Mount Juliet, just on the other side of 40, near the Providence Marketplace. Who else south? Please come in.
Kilo Echo 4, Sierra Yankee Victor.
Man, you're not man enough to come into that rainy and windy weather to come up and see us again.
No, man, it's too far, too cold.
Too cold. Today wasn't too cold. Not today. It was kind of balmy and just windy. It was really breezy.
My ball spot gets cold.
Ah, okay. Well, that's why they make hats, wool hats. Is everything going all right for you there in Rockville?
Yeah, we good down here, Paul. I'll let you get on with it, man. KU4SYV.
Yeah, very good. That was Larry. Normally he's at the breakfast, but today he was not. I missed him. Kilo Echo 4, Sierra Yankee Victor, and again, he's in Rockville. Who else south?
4, TYJ.
Hey, you're back. There was a double in there, but we'll hold on double. I got Jim in there from Woodbury. It's Woodbury, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Woodbury. B-U-R-Y, Bury.
Yeah, I don't like the name Bury in the town. It doesn't sound like a funeral.
No, I did not attend the morning breakfast festivities today.
No, I understand. You know, you don't have to. I have fun with people who didn't show up who normally do, but you know, there's no requirement. It's not like it's a mandatory event.
Oh, I understand, and it's my prerogative, and I chose not to exercise the motorcycle this morning to turn into a jet ski.
Oh man, it was also very windy today, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. I kept checking the antennas to make sure they were still up, but luckily for me, they still stayed in the air, so I'm a happy little camper.
Yeah, I noticed that I tied off both ends of my antenna, my big dipole. It's not really a dipole, but it's, you know, two ends of that long wire I have. And I just did it just to get it up off the ground after they put it in the fence. And I noticed today with the wind and the trees, and both ends fell down again, so I got to go out and fix that tomorrow.
Yeah, I have two big inverted V's up, 160 and 80, and yeah, there. Of course, I put it on the bendiest tree I own, and it's about 70 feet tall, and yeah, I get a lot of wind, and it's real bendy. But apparently, I built it enough slack. It's came down twice, fixed it, and so far, I think I've figured it out to have enough slack in there so it doesn't fall apart every time the wind blows. But yeah, it was bobbing and a weaving.
Yeah, I bet it was. You know what it topped out at down there? You know what the wind speed was?
No, I sure don't. I have no idea.
No, I'm just asking because when I looked on the Weather Channel, it said topped out at 20, but I don't know what they're reading, and I don't know if other areas had it worse than we did, because it was really quite blustery here. I couldn't believe how breezy it was, because I think the gusts had to be over 20.
I think so. There was seven or several. I know at least 7 tractor trailers been blown over to this afternoon on I-40. They shut it down for a little while, according to reports, and I've seen a couple of videos blown the tractor trailers right over on the side.
Wow, I didn't hear about that. Of course, I don't usually watch local news, so I'm too busy goofing off doing something else. Well, very good, Jim. Good to have you in there. That was Kilo Echo 4 Tango Yankee Juliet. We missed you and Suzanne being there this morning. Of course, there's always 2 times a month, so we got November and December to show up, and it's always good. Always good. And as you know, there's nothing mandatory. On the air is not mandatory. The meetings aren't mandatory. None of it's mandatory. Man. We're a no rules club. Who else we got south? Please come up. Hey, was that you earlier there, Scott? That I didn't hear right?
Yeah, well, I didn't voice. I went to key up, and I thought I heard somebody else keying at the same time, so I stopped.
Aha! You're being the gentleman.
That's right. I guess so. Every now and then, and it was windy here. Blew my hat off when I was walking the dog.
Oh yeah, I hadn't seen it that windy in a long time. It was kind of nice. I only get bothered when it gets so windy you can't stand up straight. That's a different kind of windy.
Well, I think you still got to go to the east, don't you?
Yes, I do. And we got to do the other nets too. So we're going to move right along. Scotto, it's good to have you in there. That's Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta, and he's in Laverne. Who else? Anybody else south?
K4IDC.
Hey, Robin. Nice to see you this morning. Did you get your fill of food?
I did. I tried the breakfast sampler this morning. I didn't eat lunch or anything the rest of the day.
Wow, you must have ate a lot, though. Of course, I can't imagine you eat so much. I mean, I'm not going to ask you how much you weigh, but I know I weigh more than you do.
Well, yeah, of course. 168.
Do you really? I would have thought it would have been more closer to 180 or 185. I don't know why. Because you're all muscle and bone. That's why.
So anyway, it was plenty of food, and I enjoyed it. So it's good to see everybody at the breakfast this morning.
You didn't get any takers on putting up those towers, did you?
Nope.
Just let me know when. We'll get something on.
Yeah, I hope to have at least one of them up before the January contest.
Oh my gosh, I hope you have it ready by now. I mean, we have 2 full months between now and then.
Yep. Oh, I didn't mention to you. NES called me Friday morning and offered me the job.
I was going to ask you about that, and if I'd skip my, oh, that's outrageous. I'm glad to hear that. Were you hoping to get it at that point?
Yeah. Well, I was, by word of the unofficial channel, I was very encouraged. I've been that way for, I don't know, 3 months. It's been 14 weeks since the interview.
I know it's been a while, and I didn't know if, it's one of those things. I've done interviews over the years. And, it's not something you dwell on because you don't know what the results are until the results come in. So it's all just like it's whatever, up until that point.
Right. So anyway, they called. I'm going for the required drug screen first part of the week, and then assuming that turns out well, then I'll turn in my resignation this week.
Okay, I hate to say this, but is it a better job? Obviously it is, or you wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, it's more in line with my skill set, my education, training, and considerably more pay.
Oh, well, that's awesome. So you can pay somebody to put up those towers.
I could, but I'm not going to.
I'm with you. Yeah, you'd rather work than watch somebody else work. I get it.
That's exactly it.
No, I'm with you. It's like when even when I put up the fence, I say I put up the fence. I paid somebody to put up the fence. I thought, or even chop down some of the trees. I thought, oh, I could be doing that. Well, I'm not 35 anymore.
No, roughly half that, or twice that.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of know my limitations until last past Tuesday, and I realized that there was another limitation I forgot.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you fence. Anyway, I know you got to get moving, so carry on. K4IDC.
Yeah, very good. I got a video of it before the fence, during the fence, and I got another one to take probably tomorrow after the fence. I can put it up on YouTube, save you the trip. But anyway, that was Robin, Kilo 4, India Delta Charlie, and he's south of me, actually in Hermitage, close to Percy Creek Lake, about 6 miles south of me. And again, Kilo 4, India Delta Charlie. Now he's got 3 towers. Well, he'll have 3 towers. Who else we got south or east?
WA4ZHI East.
Hello, James. You were waiting a long time for that, weren't you?
All time.
Yeah, well, that's what's nice is it only takes 2 weeks to get back in front again.
That's pretty nice. It just seems it was just here.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. How you doing? How's you and the family doing these days?
Well, fair, not great, but fair. Got a few errands and a few medical things to take care of.
Yeah. When I was young, I didn't. They have this thing about people worried about health insurance when you're young. Those ads I see on TV. I told my wife, I said, when I was 20 years old, I could have cared less about health insurance.
Well, I got mine just through work. Other than that, I didn't bothered about it.
No. When I didn't have any insurance. I just worked for a contractor when I first got out of the military. I could have cared less. I couldn't afford it either. That's why I couldn't have cared less.
Well, all the jobs I had insurance, but back then you didn't need it that much.
No, you really didn't. And what they took out of your pay wasn't that much either.
Fortunately, you never got hurt very bad.
No, no, you're right. Well, very good, James. Glad you got it written in there tonight. I'm glad you held out for that. That's Whiskey 4 Zulu Hotel, India. Whiskey. Why does that sound right? Am I missing a letter there?
Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel India.
Yeah, I wrote it down and I realized I was missing the alpha. I thought you couldn't have possibly changed your call. I just changed my writing so I couldn't read it. Well, very good, James. Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel India here in Mount Juliet, just near the heart, right here in the middle of northeast of the library here in Mount Juliet. Who else east?
Kilo India 4 Sierra India Bravo 4 LXH. Handle is Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy, hold on one second. I got it. Who I got? Yeah, Richard. Hey, Richard.
I'm done.
You doing what? You're dropping out on me, Richard.
Yeah, I know.
You don't have.
Sounds squirrely all of a sudden.
Well, you don't have the strength to push the button in there, or what?
No, the power supply gave it up to go. Looks like.
Man, I thought you had to fix that.
No, I borrowed one from Michael, and that's what I've got it rigged up to. But I don't know what that was all about. It doesn't seem like it's going to do it now. I don't know. Anyway, I enjoyed breakfast and said the things to everybody, and glad Alan checked in. He's a friend of mine, lives down in Northwest Wilson, and I'll let you later. Y'all carry on. KI4SIB.
Yeah, very good, Richard. Good to have you in there. That's Kilo India 4 Sierra India Bravo. He is over just west of Lebanon, a couple miles at most. Jimmy, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fairly well. Nothing much going on. How are you?
Well, if the bands weren't so dead, I'd be better.
Well, that's true. Everybody'd be better if that was the case. But speaking of that, I was on 20 meters early this afternoon, and I was here in Northern California and Southern California, pretty clear. But then I went on 17 meters about an hour later, and Northern California, there's nothing, and Southern California is still clear. Now, I don't know. I don't understand much about propagation. I don't understand how that happens.
No, I don't either. I gave up trying to figure it out. I see those videos on the web about propagation, and you go, yeah, I don't understand it, so I stopped watching them.
Well, there must be a lot of, I guess you call them macro scale variations in propagation that people just don't know much about that are happening, and that's what causes that, I'm assuming. But at any rate.
Well, it's funny, if it was just atmospheric stuff, I might be able to understand it. But then they throw in the magnetic stuff, and you go, okay, well, I'm done. I can't think about those two elements together.
Well, that's true. I was wondering, if the weather has any influence on propagation at all.
Well, I guess it does. I mean, it has something to do with the atmospheric issues, whether it's everything from moisture in the air to the ionization of the whichever layer we're talking about, and cloud levels, and I don't even know. I just know that there's a lot of variables in there. A lot of people smarter than me seem to know what they're talking about. I don't.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, it shows you what's going on in my life. I'm wondering about propagation.
Well, it's kind of like the weather. I don't know crap about the weather. In general, I just want to know. I look out the window, and I stick my head out the window. And it's kind of like radio. If I want to see what propagation is, I turn on the radio.
Roger. Well, it's good to talk to you, Paul. And believe it or not, one of these days I'm going to show up at that breakfast, and you're going to be just surprised as all get out. This is Kane for LXH.
Nah, we'll be happy. Anybody who shows up, it's great. We have a good time. Very good. That was Jimmy Kilo, November 4, Lima X-Ray Hotel. He's here in Mount Juliet, up north of the high school here near Lebanon Road. Who else east? Please come in.
Okay, I'm
Hey, Stan. You doing good?
Yeah, getting better, Paul. I've good days and bad days. I think physical therapy's helping, but I think I go 4 more times maybe.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't think I've had anything. Well, I have had some serious stuff, but it's kind of like when I had surgery many moons ago, 30 years ago or something like that. I remember it took me more than a little while to get over the effects of the surgery. So I kind of understand where you're headed, because yours is more skeletal than mine was not. So, but when I busted my head and my shoulder and my neck here a couple of years ago, it took me a year to get over that.
Yeah, my neck muscles are still kind of upset, but I think the exercises and the stuff that the therapist is doing is kind of helping them.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's got to keep after it. Even after the therapy's over, you got to keep after it. I mean, it's not something you can just sit idle and hope it gets better.
I think it's gonna kind of change the way I normally sleep. Used to always sleep on the left side. Now it seems like I can't sleep on that side anymore. When I sleep on the right side.
Yeah, I had gone through the same thing. It's, all of a sudden, where my arm used to be comfortable, it's not comfortable anymore.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about, Paul. Well, I won't know you up back in the M4X3.
Yeah, very good. That was Stan. He's in just north of downtown Lebanon. That's Kilo Mike 4, Hotel Quebec Echo. Anybody else east? Please come in. I think I heard somebody in there, maybe.
Whiskey Delta 4 Bravo, Whiskey Charlie.
Hey, how you doing, Jeff?
Doing okay. How are you?
Doing fantastic. I realize we're running. Wow, it's almost just 10 after 9. Wow, time flies, isn't it?
When they having fun.
Well, yeah, no, it's all good. I don't begrudge the time. I just don't want it to run on too long, but it always seems to when there's. I mean, you're number 24, so it's not a little tiny bit. You know?
Hey, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's all good. I'm just glad that people can get on the air. And they, Robin was saying something about when we were together for doing that antenna work or that tower work over his house. He said something about. I said you ought to do the net. He says, nah, I don't think so. I don't have. I think he used the word. I don't have the gift. I said, well, I remember I said, what's the gift? He said, well, you have to be entertaining. I said, well, I don't make it a point to. Maybe I'm entertaining, but that's not my objective necessarily. I mean, maybe it's entertaining to some people, but maybe it's just because I don't know. Maybe I'll just talk to anybody and have fun doing it. Maybe that's it.
You're talented. That's what it is.
Well, I was in as you I think you know I was in sales for sales and project management for 30 something years and managing people. So you have to anybody who's worked with people a lot, you just get used to trying to get along and have fun. And of course, business isn't all fun, but you know what I'm getting at. You have to be at least a good listener and hopefully a good. I'll just say a good talker, good conversationalist.
You've got all the qualities.
Got all the gifts. Well, very good, Jeff. Is everything else going well in your life?
No, everything's going status quo.
All right, very good. That was Whiskey Delta 4, Bravo Whiskey Charlie. That's Jeff. He's also in Lebanon. He's a Lebanon crew over there. We got 4 or 5 people. Anybody else late check-ins? Please come in.
Richard,
What?
you're titched. That's what it is. You're one of these people that if you can't impress them with your knowledge, you'll baffle them with your whatever else.
You didn't tell Brent what I said about him, did you?
I did.
Oh, man, he's never going to check in again.
I ain't even talked to Brett.
Yeah, well, don't tell him he lives in a, you know what I said.
I know. And I used to live in that, but he's climbing out of it pretty good nowadays.
Oh, no, Jeff's got a great signal. He could, if he's on his HT with that antenna, he could hit me just fine.
I believe so. Carry on. Oh, this thing acts a fool again. KI4SIB back to net.
Yeah, very good, Richard. You get to the bottom of that in, I don't know, by the year 2030. Maybe.
Well, Robin's got 3 of my power supplies. I'm just hoping how they turn out in good shape and he can work some magic on them in some fashion.
You must have, so a meteorite hit your systems or something. To have 3 power, do you think it's possible to have 3 power supplies bad from the same household?
Well, now actually 2 of them I think are somehow or other screwed up, but the third one I don't know a whole lot about. And I just wanted him to look it over and see what made it tick.
Yeah, 2 of them are screwed up and one doesn't work worth a darn. So you got 3 bad ones.
They all work in their own special way, but they're all caged too.
Yeah, no, I got you. Very good. Maybe get the plug-in upside down in the wall.
Very possibly.
All right, very good, Richard. Do we have any other late check-ins? Please come now. Any lollygaggers, lurkers, sandbaggers, SDR donglers, scanner listeners, preppers, and end-time survivors? I got that list out without stumbling. Anybody else? Very good. We're moving on to the buy, sell, swap, and swindle. Anything about they want to sell? Please come on. Yeah, go ahead there, Scott.
A folded dipole
Linko hand mic and a bottom cover for a TS570. Just look up my call sign on qth.com.
If you do that, folded dipole, an Alinco handheld microphone, and you said a bottom cover for which one?
Kenwood 570.
The Kenwood TS570. Gotcha. Yeah, look his call up. That's Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta, and that's on QRZ, you said?
Either one, QRZ or no, it's only on QTH. QTH only.
Okay, that's qth.com, correct? Yeah, qth.com, Quebec. TangoMike.com. He's got some stuff to sell. Folded dipole, which are all usually a very good antenna. Is that folded dipole for what? For 20 or what?
Yes, it is.
That was a good guess, wasn't it? All right, a folded dipole, Alinco. I think you said there was a 6-pin handle.
8-pin round, 6-pin wood. It's untested.
Okay, so yeah, I know which one here because it's the same one that's on my Alinco now. Alinco 8-pin handheld. It says it's untested, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means we don't know if it works. And the Kenwood 570 bottom cover. I'm not sure what the market is for those, but if you need something like that, it's Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta on Q. I just said not QRZ. It's Q. What the heck did we just call it? I never use it.
QTH.
Yeah, how could I forget QTH? All right, very good. That's on my road now. Anybody else with anything to buy, sell, or swap? Anybody want anything to buy? We already figured out one with a radio for Charlie. Anybody else?
So I'm looking for an HF antenna. Any HF band might work, but an HF antenna that's like under $60. Maybe if you recommend just making one, you can tell me that. But I'm just looking to get started with that radio that he's supplying me. The antenna to go along with that. So so this is either I should make one or I should buy one. And if I should buy one, then does anyone have any for like cheaper than like $60?
Yeah, I got it. Well, $60 will buy a lot of wire antennas, depending on what you want to do. And if Danny's still listening, we can figure that out on what kind of connections are on the back of his, and if that, because oftentimes you need an antenna tuner if the radio itself doesn't have a tuner in it. So we can kind of figure that out when you get Danny and you together on that radio, and we can figure out, because it'll be easy to figure out this. $50, $60 will buy a lot of antenna. Well, very good. Good to hear that. That was Charlie with the antenna needs. In fact, that folded dipole probably worked pretty good for you on 20 meters. Anybody else needing something or wanting something from anybody? Please come in.
Yeah, and the radio, he said that it's a Yaesu 890 and it has an antenna tuner in it.
Oh, good. I'll have to look it up myself. But what we'd be concerned about is not concerned, but depending upon how you want to hook up an external wire antenna, whether you do it with coax or do it with ladder line, which is 2 types usually. You just need to know what's on the back of the radio. I'm pretty sure it's just it's coaxial cable connector. But anyway, good. I got glad we got that information, Charlie. Anybody else? All righty, let's move over to the 144.240 net, unless I hear anything in the next 10 seconds or so.
Yeah, Paul, it's Danny. Yeah, it's SO239 on the back of that radio.
Okay, then there's no problem. It's just a matter of coax and getting it up to something up in the air.
Yep, literally just about any piece of wire in here will work. You could do one of the NFEDs, like, they call them NFEDs. It's a really off-center fed dipole. Those are multi-band. They work pretty well. The tuner's pretty flexible. You can't go wrong with the straight-up 20-meter, 40-meter dipole, depending on what time of day you want to operate. Lots of options. ZS6 BKW is hard to beat, but it's fussy. You got to get it up high enough, and you got to make sure the ladder line comes straight down and whatever else. But if you get them up right, they're multi-band. You can work a lot of stuff on them. So literally a piece of wire in the air is a step in the right direction.
Oh, absolutely. And we're going to have to look at his lot because he's got some deed restrictions, homeowners agreements, so he's got some issues there that have to be at least dealt with so that it's not real visible and the wire antenna works good in that atmosphere.
Well, exactly. And, I've had good luck with I've got one of the my antennas, 80 meter infeds. I don't know how much lot he's got. They make a 40 meter version. It's about 65 feet long. It's got a black box on one end and an insulator on the other. You literally string it up, and you can do literally about anything with it. Get it in the air. It can lay across the trees. It can zigzag across the backyard. It can hang funny. It can whatever. And they're pretty resilient. But same deal. Like you said, you can go to Lowe's and for $45 buy 500 feet of 14 gauge THHN in black jacket. And I defy you to stand and point at it and be able to see the thing. That's what my 160 meter loop is made from. And it's been up a couple of years, works fine. And literally I could point to it and you'd have a hard time seeing it.
Yeah, birds and the squirrels find them.
So far, so good.
No, I'm with you. I've caught birds pecking on my wires before, and I can't stop them, so I don't do anything.
Well, I get the hummingbirds like to land on mine. I don't know what it is. There's one section along the side of the house, and I get hummingbirds that like to light on it.
Keeps their feet warm.
Apparently so.
All right, very good, Dan. Yeah, we'll work with that. We'll get with Charlie when he gets the license is number 1, the radio and the antenna are number 2 and 3.
Yep, exactly. So Charlie, study up.
All right, he's probably studying right now. Anyway, let me move over now to the 144.240, 144.240. Upper side, man. I'll be there momentarily. K4P.
WV4EQSY.
All righty, this is K4PEW, the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net on 144.240. Again, we'll start with north, please. Anybody north of me, please come now.
AB9 RKK.
Hey, Frank, sound good tonight? With that indoor antenna, man, you ought to patent that thing. Who else we got north? All right, from the west then, K4PEW.
AM4, wow, yeah.
All righty, I got Michael in there, Kilo Mike 4YRF. Who else west?
Whiskey 4, Alpha Whiskey Echo.
Very good. Got John in there. Anybody else west? Anybody south? Please come in.
K1SPA.
Hey, Scott, I knew you'd wait you out. You were just holding back again. Anybody else south? All righty. Anybody else east? Please come in. Any late check-ins? Please come in.
WE4E. You move faster than my fingers can.
I'm with you. Yeah, I was fortunate that this thing was already set on a 2 meter side, on the sideband for that frequency. Otherwise, I'd still be fumbling around.
Well, mine was still set up for remote, and so the mic wasn't. I got to go to the menus and find the menu option that turns it back to a local mic. So you'd think I'd have the good sense to change that when I got home, but no.
All righty, very good. Anybody else, any place, anywhere, please come in. All right, got nothing. If anybody else does check in, just jump in there. So far, I got me, Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey here in Mount Juliet, at the summit of Mount Juliet, I might add. And Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo Kilo, and that is Frank up in the northwest Wilson County and still in Mount Juliet, though. And Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot, that's Michael in Bellshire. And Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo John over in Bellevue. We've got Scott, Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta in Laverne, and then Whiskey Echo 4 Echo Danny in Hendersonville. I guess is anybody not hearing anybody on the net on that portion on that side?
I heard everybody. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Well, the question was, were you not hearing everybody? You were answering that you heard everybody. You can't get your questions straight, man.
Well, if you didn't hear somebody, how would you know?
Well, I know because I can hear everybody since I checked in. So when I say, is there anybody who can't hear everybody I mentioned? That's when you speak up. If you couldn't hear, no, I'm just joking. It's fine. Everything's good.
Well, it's like if everybody who's not here, raise your hand.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, very good. Yeah. Well, that's good. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's 3, 4. That's 6 of us here. That's not too bad. That's probably average for the sideband portion of that. And if we're bringing in more, I guess, as we move along. All right. Well, you guys are welcome to stick around, but I got to go get a drink of water, and I got to finish the net, and we'll go from there. This is K4PEW. Appreciate you guys being there. Catch you later. 73.
I just want to know when you're going to activate Mount Juliet.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I got to get a climbing team with harnesses necessary to make the climb first.
Yeah, okay. Everybody have a good night. K1SPD.
Yeah, very good. We'll catch you later. K4PW. You guys do great. I'm closing down the web. K4PW.
K1SPD WE4E.